Good evening. We are doing a quick preview of the 2018 NBA playoffs. Yes, the regular season is over, and this might be one of the more interesting years of the NBA playoffs at this point.
Can LeBron carry Cleveland again? Are the Sixers as
Oh,
dangerous as they seem?
come on, there we go. But we're going to start off with the Eastern Conference, and we're going to go with Toronto and Washington. The regular season series was tied at 2 apiece, and they're under a lot of pressure, pushing down on them in the playoffs. And they get to play the Washington Wizards, who's welcoming back John Wall from surgery. This could be a better matchup than advertised. But this could be a series that could go 6 or 7 games, absolutely, between the Wizards and the Raptors. And I think Washington could challenge with the return of John Wall. And of course, Toronto, they have a stout defense and really good offense. But I think still Toronto's going to be no match for Washington. I am going to take the Raptors in 6 games. Next up, the Boston Celtics, who have weathered injuries to Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward this season. They will be facing off against the young Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's 0 for 2 in the postseason. And also Marcus Smart is going to be hurt for the first round. And this was one that was tied 2-2 also. And I actually think Milwaukee could actually stretch this series with all the injuries Boston has. But Boston has the edge on the home court. And also Brad Stevens is a really excellent coach. I think he'll find some way to take down Milwaukee, but I do think Milwaukee's going to stretch him onto Kempo and all that. I do think it will be the Celtics in 7 games. Next up is a really good series between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Miami Heat. And Philadelphia right now is one of the hottest teams in the NBA going into the playoffs. And they have ended I think it's 8 or 9 year drought of the postseason. But they keep rolling without Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons is the real deal. And I certainly think they could make quick work of the Heat the way they're playing. And I think definitely Simmons is going to give Hassan Whiteside some trouble. And Miami does have some playoff experience. But I just think that Philly's going to be no match. Miami's going to be no match for Philly's going to be no match for Miami. And I am going to take Philly in 5. I think Philly's going to keep the hot run, and Brent Brown, he's going to go from hot seat to coach of the year this year. I think he will lock up that trophy once he gets a playoff win this year. But I think Philadelphia, they tied the regular season series 2-2, but I think I would give it to Philly. Philly takes it in 5 games. Now on to the Cavs and the Pacers. They definitely have some history against each other. Indiana won the regular season series 3-1. And Oladipo has had a really excellent season for the Pacers, and the Pacers have played out of their minds this year, and Nate McMillan has really proved himself why he's a really good coach in the NBA, whereas Cleveland's kind of backing into the 4th seed, and Tyronn Lue could be one playoff series away from being fired in Cleveland. And of course, you got George Hill, you've got Kevin Love. And I don't know. I certainly think Indiana is going to stretch the Eastern Conference champions in this series. And you know what? If they're able to shut down LeBron, this is where the game could get interesting. If LeBron is shut down here, I can't see why not. I think Cleveland will certainly win the series and advance to the second round, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I certainly think Indiana is going to, I think Cleveland, but it's going to take 7 games. Indiana's just that scrappy that I think they are going to stretch Cleveland all 7 games before singing their swan song. But I don't see Cleveland getting back to the NBA finals this year. They're not a championship caliber team anymore. But then again, all the other teams in the East are hurt, so that's where it could get interesting. But hey, I think if they run into Philadelphia, they're done. I certainly think they could be done if they play Philly in the playoffs, and I certainly think Cleveland's going to get stretched by Indiana, and that series is going to go 7 games, but still Cleveland survives to the second round to face Toronto, and that's where maybe Cleveland could meet its death in the second round. All right, on to the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This should be a very easy series. The Rockets won this series 4-0. Mike D'Antoni, really great job coaching the Rockets this year. Really great job for him, and great job for the Timberwolves to break a 14-year playoff drought. Get back in the NBA playoffs. Congratulations to Tom Thibodeau. Certainly players like Karl-Anthony Towns are going to get some valuable playoff experience here. And of course, Jimmy Butler has some playoff experience for the Timberwolves. But I think they're definitely going to get buzzsawed by the run and gun of Mike D'Antoni and his 7 seconds or less offense. James Harden's a beast in the D'Antoni system. Chris Paul's really evolved into the system. And this is definitely, I just don't know who wants to face Houston in the West. I certainly think Houston's the darlings this year. And I truly think I'm going to take Houston in 5. I think Houston's going to maybe even a sweep. It wouldn't be surprised if this one ends in a sweep. But I think Houston's motivated to go after the title this year, and they are definitely a championship caliber team. Hello, Von Hook. And I think Houston's going to make quick work of the Timberwolves. And now on to the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs. And the Warriors kind of backed into the 2 seed. They have not played great basketball the last few weeks. And granted, they've had injuries to Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. And they are going to be without Steph Curry for the first round, per se. But also, can the team actually be able to flip that switch here in the first round and get into playoff mode? I think their saving grace is that they're going to be playing a San Antonio team who's likely going to be without Kawhi Leonard. And being without Leonard, that definitely favors the Warriors. And I think the Warriors might be able to survive the first round. And I think Durant's able to carry him. But also, Durant and Draymond Green are going to have to keep their egos in check to have any hope of winning the series. of making a deep run. They cannot get themselves into technicals like they have during the regular season and get themselves suspended. That's something that's been really bad from Draymond and Durant this year is the technicals. That has to be. And you know what? And certainly Steve Kerr is going to be under some scrutiny if the Warriors get bounced in the first or second rounds. Because you know what? Yes, Kerr's won a couple championships, but also Walton's done well with this roster. So has Mike Brown. So it might be the players and not necessarily the coaching. So I certainly could see a situation where if Golden State gets bounced early on, you could see Steve Kerr on the hot seat next year. And that's for certain. But San Antonio, like I said, I think they're going to be able to get through San Antonio without Kawhi Leonard. They definitely have a very experienced team, but they're a very old team. And I think San Antonio is going to be heading for a retool this next offseason. And I certainly think they're going to get this team retooled because I think probably you're going to see this is going to be the last year of possibly Manu Ginobili. And Patty Mills is going to have to be the player to step up for the Spurs to have any chance at taking down the Warriors. But I think the Warriors will take it in 6 games. And I just don't think the Warriors are going to be able to completely flip the switch. But we're going to find out if the Warriors can flip the switch after being backed into the second seed. We'll see. But we'll see if they can play healthy here and play good basketball here instead of because they've lost the last 10 of 17 games, which is not great at all. But Popovich could still pull the upset. And now on to what I think is going to be one of the better matchups here of the Western Conference that nobody's really talking about, the Portland Trailblazers against the New Orleans Pelicans. I certainly think this ended up being a tied series 2-2 this year. This is a really good series between two really good teams. But Portland backed into the 3 seed, surprisingly. And they definitely, Damian Lillard's always a threat. And you got Glenn. But the defense can be suspect at times. But definitely the Rose Garden is a loud place to play. And that's going to get really interesting for Portland. I think Portland could have the advantage there. And the New Orleans Pelicans, what a great year for Alvin Gentry to keep this team together after losing DeMarcus Cousins to injury. Anthony Davis has really stepped it up this year. And to finish with the 6 seed is amazing. Anthony Davis has just really led the way on defense. I think that's another coach of the year candidate. Has got to be Alvin Gentry. And I think this could be a 7-game series. I really do. This is one where I kind of think Portland will take it in 7. But I think then you're going to have a Portland Golden State series, which I think Portland could challenge Golden State this year after that. But I do think the Pelicans will stretch Portland to 7 games, and I think it'll be a really entertaining series between the Blazers and the Pelicans. And now on to the last matchup, the Thunder and the Jazz. The Jazz won the regular season series 3-1. And they got to make a run if they want Paul George to stay around beyond this year. That is for certain. And the Jazz have a really good defense, but also the Jazz can score too. Donovan Mitchell needs to shine in order for them to have a chance. I do think OKC is going to have enough. I think OKC is going to have enough to get to the second round. And I think it'll be I think the Thunder will take the Jazz in 6 games. But a great second half by the Jazz, no doubt. But I think the Thunder will move on to play at Houston. And that's going to be a really good series. And yes, Von Hook, I don't think the Warriors are going to the finals this year. I really don't. I think they're not going to be able to turn. I think they get bounced in the second round, honestly. I think Portland, I really think Portland's going to, I think Portland could upset them in the second round. Portland is not the best, but I do think Portland, especially if Curry's not available for the second round, I don't expect neither the Warriors nor the Cavaliers to be in the finals this year. I think you could see something like Rockets and Raptors or Rockets and Sixers. I'm really thinking Philly could be the sleeper to get to the finals at this point. But yeah, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but I do start watching it during the playoffs, and I look forward to the physical matchups and the bad blood between some of the teams. And now it's on to some great basketball. I'm going to catch up on the Giants game. I will be back on there after the Giants game concludes tonight on the Giants Roundup channel. Please subscribe to the Giants Roundup channel. I'll be on after the Giants Padres game concludes to do my recap on there. Everybody enjoy the NBA playoffs and have a good night.